The mainstream media has completely failed us, not only in its lack of real opposition and pushback to the lies of this administration, but refusing to get deep into their cover ups. And I'm not just talking about Epstein, I'm talking about Donald Trump's health. It is so clear that the president is in cognitive decline, but never do I hear questions from the mainstream press about it, even when Donald Trump is showing us his decline to our faces every single day. And he did that today at a press event in which he had to ask his handlers to save him because his brain is so broken. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into that clip, I want to start where Donald Trump did, of course, talking about himself and his ballroom.
You know, we're building right behind us, we're building a ballroom. They've wanted a ballroom for 150 years. And I'm giving that honor to this wonderful place. I think we should do it. This was the ballroom, and this room holds 88 people, and the new one will hold 999 people, which is a difference. I say 999 because I didn't want to crack 1,000. I didn't want people to get concerned because that's getting big. But we're going to have we'll have the most beautiful ballroom in the country. It's going up, and for those that are interested, we got to get back to baseball. But you see the gold drapes? That's a knockout panel. We knock it in, you go, that comes out, and then you have essentially glass and exactly in the decor of the White House. I didn't know I'd be standing here right now because right on the other side, you have a lot of construction going on.
Now, I don't know if you've seen the photos, and I really just don't even want to show them because they're so disappointing, but it's also just such a perfect metaphor of the Trump presidency. But today, the East Wing of the White House was being ripped apart so Donald Trump can build a big, gaudy ballroom that no one wants and no one needs. It is also a very scary sign of the permanent damage, of course, we know Donald Trump has done to our government. Now it's a physical manifestation, but it also signifies the way that Donald Trump has treated the White House in the past 9 months, and that's of something that he's not leaving. You don't really build yourself a giant ballroom if you plan on heading out the year after. And that's what really terrifies me. The changes that Donald Trump continues to make, the pressure he puts on Republicans to help make himself a king. The very thing that we were protesting against this week, that Republicans denied being the truth, only for Donald Trump to get on Truth Social and post AI slop videos of him with a crown on his head. So yeah, the ballroom isn't just a ballroom. It is a ballroom that shows that Donald Trump, of course, only serves the wealthy, the well-off, the well-connected, and wants to throw big events for himself to everyone, so everyone has to praise him. But it also shows that Donald Trump isn't really after history in a meaningful and impactful way, but he wants to change the way our government looks, that he wants to be remembered for that. It is why he is building an arch in the middle of Washington, because he wants monuments to himself that I don't think he expects to ever get away from. And that's very scary, especially as Donald Trump continues to talk about the other ways he's breaking our government, like our healthcare system.
Biggest deductions ever taken, job producing deductions, $50 billion to rural hospitals. We took care of Medicaid, Medicare, we took care of everything. And we did something that people didn't know. We didn't know where we'd stand in a year or 2 years from now. So we put every single thing that we wanted in that bill for 4 years. So we don't need any more votes. All we want to do is have a vote of continuation. And it's the first time in history that a group has not voted for continuation. So they have what's called a Trump derangement problem. Have you heard about that problem? Because that's the only reason this could be possible. But I think we're doing very well. I think they're going to have no choice but to go along because the country is setting records in every way and people want it to continue that way. So we're hoping the Democrats become much less deranged and that we will get the vote pretty soon. And I hear they're starting to feel that way too. They're starting to feel like they really have to do what's right for the country, and they will. But I want to just...
What has Donald Trump fixed or helped or changed for the better? What did he do with Medicare and Medicaid? He's ripping people off of their health care right now. Folks are about to see their premiums double and triple, and Donald Trump said, or he didn't really say much in that, did he? It was kind of just rambling nonsense. But again, that is what we've seen from Donald Trump. That is what the mainstream press has refused to call out. He is completely out of his mind. And I know when I say that, I often see comments like, Jack, he never had a mind to begin with. But this is serious decline. And even in the small moments, it's very obvious. Donald Trump is not cognizant of what's happening around him. Stephen Miller is clearly running things, and Donald Trump needs to lean on the help of his handlers, which is exactly what happened when Donald Trump, who recently appointed Herschel Walker to be a part of his administration as an ambassador, as he had to ask them this: is the cognitive decline was clear.
We're in the NFL too, and he's a great person. And now he's going to be the ambassador. Come on, name the country, Herschel. He's going to be in the tough job. That's a tough job, right? We'd like to have that job a little bit. We're leaving tonight.
Aaron Rupar tweeted this video saying, "Come on, name the country, Herschel. Trump seems to forget which country he named Herschel Walker the ambassador to." So Donald Trump's brain is so broken that it had to be saved by Herschel Walker, the vampire police officer guy who held up his fake badge in a debate and is maybe one of the best examples of CTE that we've ever seen. Like, Herschel Walker had to save Donald Trump. Donald Trump was like, I am stupid and I don't know what's happening. I know who I want to step in to save me, Herschel Walker. And again, this is why when I talk about who's really running the White House, you always have to point to these clips. You always have to point to the discussion around the government shutdown where Donald Trump is posting videos of Stephen Miller and Russ Vought, who are actually running things. Because what does he want to do? Donald Trump wants to build ballrooms. He wants to make the Oval Office ugly with all his goals. He wants to build arches. He wants to change the Rose Garden, make that shitty too. These are the things that Donald Trump is after. Right? His focus is on himself, some perceived legacy, and changing the White House just enough so, again, he might not have to leave. That is what I think Donald Trump wants to do. Sure, Stephen Miller can be the disgusting individual he is and rip families apart with his illegal deportation plan. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's after in his life. But what Donald Trump wants to do is serve Donald Trump and make sure Donald Trump is sticking around. And again, I don't think that's hyperbole. In the same way, I don't think it's hyperbole to say that Donald Trump needs to be saved by Herschel Walker because his brain is goop. It's pudding. And I think we should point that out. I love that whenever I read a headline from the Daily Beast about Donald Trump being an incompetent moron, it's always citing his age, the oldest president to ever be inaugurated. Not that being older means that you're out of it, but Donald Trump being out of it certainly means that you're out of it. And the mainstream press has refused to acknowledge this. I know Midas Touch has always, and for the past years, even when Donald Trump wasn't president while he was campaigning, explicitly said, Ben, Brett, and Jordy, that they want to cover every single moment of his obvious cognitive decline because the press wouldn't. It is important that we change the narrative, especially when presenting Donald Trump as he truly is, as weak, begins to erode this chokehold that he has on institutions willing to bend the knee, the ABCs, the law firms, the universities. If they see Trump for what he really is, someone losing lawsuits, losing public approval, and losing his mind, they are less likely to fall in line. What happened with Jimmy Kimmel? We spoke with our wallets and we beat them because we were better, and because we're stronger, and because Trump is weak. So we have to continue to make that case and talk about the double standard that the press affords Donald Trump, especially around some of the insane posting that he does, that Nicole Wallace responded to right here.
We begin with a study in contrast. Here are Presidents George W. Bush and President Barack Obama when confronted by public opposition to their policies.
Democracy is a beautiful thing, and that people are allowed to express their opinion. I welcome people's right to say what they believe.
I've listened to you. I heard you. I heard you. I heard you. All right? Now, I've been respectful. I'll let you holler. All right? So let me nobody's removing you. I've heard you, but you've got to listen to me too.
Believe me, no president likes to see the public turn out in large numbers against them and their agenda. But when it does happen, as you saw there, every one of them understands that it is the people's right to exercise free speech and to criticize their elected leaders at the top of their lungs. And that very thing is what makes America great. That is what makes America America. It's what makes us special all around the world. Until right now. Donald Trump showed the world what he thinks of the American people by literally broadcasting an image of himself pouring feces all over America and the American people. The No Kings protests clearly getting deep under Donald Trump's skin over the weekend. But more importantly, the protests show the contours of a new opposition in America, one led by the people. According to the organizers, 7 million people came out to protest Donald Trump on Saturday. More than 100,000 people marched in New York City. In Chicago, the march at one point stretched 22 blocks. But the protests were hardly confined to big cities in blue states. Here's what the No Kings protests look like in Anchorage, Alaska. Thousands of people taking to the streets. And the protests included people protesting from all walks of life. Here's what a U.S. Army veteran told a reporter at a protest in Oklahoma City.
I was willing to die and lost a leg in a foreign country fighting for their rights. There's no way I'm bending the only knee I have left for a king here in America. I can't sit idly by why rights are trampled on and ignored, and people are pushed and treated like second-class citizens.
The Washington Post reports that efforts by Republicans in the last week to smear the protests ahead of the protests fell flat. Quote, Ezra Levin, co-founder of the liberal grassroots movement Indivisible, that has co-organized the No Kings rally, said that RSVPs had skyrocketed. He credited the increased interest in part to the Republicans' rhetoric about the rallies. Protesters told MSNBC in every city we covered that they felt an urgent need to stand up to the Trump administration.
They're not going to intimidate us with tyrant talk. We are out here to stand up for this democracy.
Do not cower to the fascism and the threats that are coming from D.C. That's what they want us to do, and they will only be successful in that if we remain silent.
I'm very much opposed to all of the policies of Donald Trump. I don't think we need a king. We definitely don't need a dictatorship, and it's time for him to go. I'm against everything that he says and does.
This is the most American thing that you can do. Protest and speak for what you believe in.
I am so tired of this double standard, and I am going to continue to call it out on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to support the show another way, you can click right here to subscribe to my Substack. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.